Hello world! It has been a hot minute since I made a new video. The Apex Legends is here with a new Season 8, new Legend Fuse. I've got a new PC, so you might see everything looks very nice and crisp. We got ourselves a new comic. Few things I'm really glad about with this, even before I jump into the comic itself. They're calling it a comic instead of a quest, which I think is really good for how everyone sort of perceives it, because there's no missions anymore, right? The fact that the comic unlocks at the same time for everybody, I think is also a really cool change. It gives you less incentive to play the game. To me, the Broken Ghost was probably the best at getting you to do that, with sort of 5 per week, which was much better than 7 per week, and is at least way more incentive to play than the none required per week. But this means that everyone ends up on the literal same page, everyone gets to keep up the lore at the same pace, everyone gets to talk about it, and there's no sort of spoilers for anyone really, or there's nothing preventing anyone from getting into the story. I think that's a really good change. And then Fuse actually taking center stage immediately, again, I think really good idea, because he was coming into things with at least less of a background than Horizon did. When she turned up, we had the whole of Olympus to sort of give us an understanding of her, and it had a lot to sort of flesh the other legends out as well. So with Fuse coming in, I think it's good to give him sort of center stage in the comics so we can keep fleshing him out and give us a bit more understanding of Salvo, the greater world, and his conflict with Maggie. As we get into Maggie, this... I love that this is called Armageddon, and I did wonder in my sort of review of the launch trailer whether this idea of bringing Maggie Fuse's other arm was going to crop up soon, if at all, and then it ended up turning up immediately. So, Mad Maggie, a Salvonian freedom fighter and Fuse's oldest friend, has unleashed mayhem upon the games. She makes only one demand: the Legends must bring her Fuse's other arm as a trophy. Fuse, Lifeline and Bloodhound team up to take her down, but will tensions within the group destroy them before they get the chance. Lifeline is surprising that she would be so amenable to him immediately, but I think the comic does actually do a good job of expressing how that sort of comes about, and Bloodhound is just getting stuck in. This is great. I think that the sort of ecological disaster that's occurred because of the crashing of the IMS Thermopylae is going to be sort of a big through line for Bloodhound through this season. Especially seeing how Spotted Lakes has changed, and if the fuel from the Thermopylae actually has an effect on the environment that's way less negative than it might first appear, which could give Bloodhound an avenue into perhaps fixing up World's Edge, a chance to sort of reclaim the ecological and natural beauty of their home. It makes sense that they'd be pissed off about the damage to the natural habitat of Kings Canyon, as it has so much space dedicated to the wildlife of the planet. So yeah, I think a lot of what they've actually been doing with Season 8 already is setting us up for things that are going to come along later here, and perhaps even further into the future. The IMS Thermopylae also makes me think that Bangalore might get involved somehow, but as we jump into the first page, we'll get to see who actually gets involved here. It's pretty interesting how they get down to this. I've done a full read-through as a separate video. If you want to just go and read the chapter, or have me read the chapter to you, there is a video linked in the top corner. I'm going to read this through and sort of analyze and discuss it as we go. That's why I make these videos so long, because there's always actually something to be taken out of these, right? So, part 1, armed and dangerous. They're going to keep up the arm puns, right? Well, if Maggie wants me other arm so bloody bad, she can have it. Allow me to assist. I'm told I have excellent bedside manner. Our foe takes us for cowards. You would submit to such judgment? So yeah, I like immediately we've got Caustic getting involved back in here, maybe taking revenge for the ass tap he got. I think this is good. If he wants to give it up and save us a mess of trouble. So, best the Doctor do it. Lifeline jumping straight in. Trying to kick some shit off. Exactly, but wait, what did you just say, Chica? You're siding with Senor Sejas? We will meet this Maggie as warriors, not supplicants. Then Fitzroy may choose his path with honor. This could even be... I made the whole thing about the ecological disaster. Maybe it's just a simple matter of, pride for Bloodhound that Maggie's, sent the first shot of war. Fire back. Again, it was pretty cool, man. That's Bloodhound right at their core. Soon. So yeah, this is a little bit of a Chekhov's gun, if you ask me, or a Chekhov's gas trap. That Caustic being willing to take the arm, and I'm pretty sure there's actually a voice interaction in-game where he threatens the same thing to Fuse and says he will give his arm to the Warlord, which I think obviously means Maggie. Looking at Fuse's bio, she actually tries to become one of Salvo's many Warlords. So it seems to set up for me that at least that Caustic might want to do it for some motivation that we don't fully understand yet, right? There's more to come out of this guy. But he's buggered off soon. And these three, again, I really love the art style they've gone with. I really like the colours. I'm glad to see this art team return. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same art team as last season. I may have to double check on that. Where is Maggie? She loves hanging around the scenes of her crimes. That's King's Canyon. You know her too well. We go back a ways. I took a different route. She took a limb. I love how Fuse has been actualized on. His character always seemed really like basic to me at the base of things, but his charm and his wit, I think, really carries off just like the swagger of this character. I think it's really, really good. I'm on you. Don't want you pulling something fast. Yeah. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Now, this is sort of what I meant, that I kind of didn't like that the synopsis told us that Lifeline was going to team up with Fuse immediately, because we sort of had the tension from the launch trailer that she wasn't going to be happy with him. So yeah, this is an interesting way on them executing on that. I'd kind of almost prefer if the synopsis hadn't said anything, so that by the end of this here, we'd just be there like, okay, yeah, I get it now, and it still may not even feel like teaming up, as the synopsis sort of puts it, right? So it would feel more like the tension was obvious. The fact that it just framed it as teaming up makes this feel a little more amenable than maybe it actually is. But obviously, because Fuse is such a dude and he's not really in the wrong here, yeah, it's going to emerge as fine. But there's a lot to explore with sort of both of their attitudes to war, like the Child of War profiteers who stepped away from all that nonsense, and sort of the result of a planet raised by war, and how they sort of view things. Like, I think obviously Fuse is going to be much more accepting of the fact than Lifeline would. If she wants a complete collection, she'll have to chop it off herself. If she wants it, she can take my arm. She can bloody try. Whereas Lifeline probably would rather that no one ever tried. Do you see what I mean? We go together, Falai fighters. I know a hidden path. Hear that, Megs? Be seeing ya real soon. So, yeah, it's a really, like, standard setup, but it's jumping us into things real nice and quick. It's given us this real strong, again, a Chekhov's arm, I guess. The launch trailer made me think, like, ooh, which legends would want to take Fuse's arm? Maggie and Salvo, at least a big part of Salvo, because obviously Sandringham Kelly should theoretically be the ruling warlord of Salvo, I think that's sort of the point that they're making. What legends would ally with Maggie against Fuse and the Syndicate? People like Crypto, Revenant. I mean, there's always the possibility of someone like Wraith wanting to get involved, especially as she's seen the aftermath of Salvo's involvement with the IMC, Bangalore as well. Those two may be less likely to want to take the arm, but very possibly wanting to understand more of the situation for their own benefit. I think in the launch trailer I mentioned like Horizon, because I think that would be a really cool push to show how far Horizon is willing to go. She sees the IMS Thermopylae, she sees some of this old tech, that some of which could have been linked to her early research with Branthium, and she's there like, how did they execute on my shit over the last 100 years? Maggie, what else you got? What are the remnants of the war do you have? Oh, you'll only tell me if I give you Fuse's arm? Psh! To see my boy? That's nothing. I'll take every single Legend's arm, if it'll get me back in time to my son. That would be pretty fucking badass. Because I think everyone sees Horizon as just good and nice, and she's lovely. But I think part of the moral dilemma of Horizon herself is that she needs to push past some huge moral and ethical boundaries to do what she's got to do, and whether she considers that worth it or herself worth that after it is where sort of the problem comes from, that the conundrum of that. Like, one of the last videos I actually made, talking about the Horizon time travel teaser, was that she might have to ally with Ash. After everything that happened, and even after Ash may have caused even more fucking strife post that, if Ash is a key into getting Horizon back in time to her son, Horizon has to push past her own trust issues with Ash to work with her to get back in time, and Ash has to try and redeem herself. She has to try and be a better person. There's like a huge character arc there set up within like who Horizon is and what she will have to do and how to make her a nuanced character. That, something like this, presents an awesome opportunity for. I think that even more characters than I've mentioned. Why would Caustic want to take the arm? What does he want from Maggie? Is it just like the potential of power to keep himself hidden, as what was like threatened by Loba in the Broken Ghost? I do like that these three have been, I've only just realized that they were set up as like this sort of team within the trailer that Horizon, Mirage, and Pathfinder also sort of had to sort of subtly like do their sort of character growth across the season. So yeah, this dynamic is definitely going to emerge again, and I wonder how and why exactly. Why is more the thing, like, because Caustic isn't someone to do something for no or a surface reason, right? I don't think he would just want to take the arm for the macabre study of necrotic flesh, right? I don't think he's just going to take the arm so that he can examine it and learn more about entropy, right? He probably could benefit or knows some way to benefit from taking the arm. And I think there's other characters that maybe could be in the same boat. But then we have our sort of emotional, sort of moral anchor in Lifeline with her sort of, I love this, her nervously sort of sporadic backup in Octane. Octane here does make a lot of sense in turning up. Although he does seem to sort of vanish here. I think he, again, could be someone to pop up as sort of like looking up to Big Daddy Fuse, if you would, or Grandpa Fuse. Octane, I think, again, is a little just either here to frame the like, wait, what? But he could be here to set up the fact that with everything that he's got going on, and Lifeline continuing sort of a prominent role from Season 6, we get to really flesh her out. I think that, yeah, Octane is going to pop back into things, maybe to save the day at a later sort of struggle point, or to sort of raise some of the internal conflicts about war, about betrayal, about the people that mean something to you trying to kill you, and how this could even lead into Octane revealing to Lifeline that his dad tried to kill her parents. But that's just a little Chekhov's gun sitting right here anyway. So, maybe not this season. It's something that could obviously wait until a later date. As we've got war profiteers who'd made sort of the deal with Salvo, I do really think that Lifeline and her family and the deal with the Silvers and their assassination very well could play into this somehow, some way. To maybe set certain people more against each other, like Octane, imagining Octane here. But then you could have someone like Fuse being able to give Octane some sort of comfort about it. That he's like, hey, you're not your old man. You didn't try to kill her family. You tried to stop them killing her family. Blood isn't everything, is it? Just to back up what Octane had thought in the first place. And get rid of his sort of hang-ups and his anxiety over that. So that he can go and tell Lifeline, who maybe has already heard but then will respect Octane all the more for coming and speaking about it. And then you've got Bloodhound, who's just almost, again, like, a different sort of, like, moral anchor that Lifeline essentially aims to be good, aims to be for the best for all. Whereas Bloodhound is more about just the honor. Like, hey, Lifeline, if you want to actually combat what this woman, what Mad Maggie has done, you also have to be violent. You can't ignore that. That's like, that is a complexity of what conflict is, right? I think that there's a lot of actual sort of ethical exploration to be done between these three, even including this guy and even including Octane. They're almost like this moral spectrum. Octane would probably stand like here-ish, maybe even like jumping in between these two, as he's got actually kind of his own proper ethical dilemma at present. Could even stand here. But yeah, this is almost like a moral spectrum, which I think is just a really nice way to look at it. This is a balance of ideas and how you actualize against them and what they mean against each other. I think that's really, really fucking cool. And yeah, again, I like that they set up Lifeline to be here, taking initiative, almost like learning from her experience with her parents, that she's there like, I'm staying here to keep an eye on the proliferation of war, because I don't want it to get out of hand again. It's already gotten out of hand. Out of hand. I didn't even realize that. I didn't mean to do that. And then you've just got Bloodhound's been sitting in the background for a while. This is a really good opportunity for them to take some initiative. As I discussed at the beginning, there's a lot of potential causes behind why Bloodhound would want to be involved here. So we'll be seeing more of Max real soon. Again, fuck yeah, let's do it. I don't know if she's the kind of character to become a legend eventually, because joining the games would be her submitting to the Syndicate in her eyes, just as Fuse did. She's a character I think you'd have to design a very specific situation for her to join the games. Like, she joins to prove that she can destroy it from the inside, which obviously then to us kind of would remove a lot of tension, because we know the story has to keep continuing and continuing. She could obviously offer some internal conflict by just trying to dismantle everything from the inside, or work with the people who are more anti-Syndicate. But to me, actually, she almost serves best as a supporting character. She's here to present conflict to essentially all the legends, rather than just a specific set of them. Because regardless of whether you would like Fuse to keep his arm, or whether you'd like to take Fuse's arm, you're taking a stance on that conflict. So yeah, I think this could blow out into way bigger of an effect than it seems to at present. Like, it's already drawing in like at least 5 of our main cast. And as I've explored, there's probably a few more that would be down to take his arm. So, to be continued. As I said earlier, I've done just a pure read-through as like its own little video that I've released alongside this one, if you just want to sort of listen through the comic and see how terrible my voice acting is. And to be honest, if you've gotten here, you probably have either seen that already, or you don't need to watch it because you've come through this with me. With that said, thanks for staying with me to this point. Honestly, it's been really good to get back into talking about something properly story-wise again. I hope you've enjoyed Season 8 thus far. I hope everyone's having fun with Fuse and the Destroyed King's Canyon. It's really beautiful there at present, I definitely have to say that. But that's enough out of me for today. I've been Euclidean Vision, the emotional support. Take care of yourselves out there, teammates, and may the glorious light of Beskil shine within you. Bye-bye.